Welcome to the Candle Business Coach Podcast, a show about the craft of candle making and small business. I'm your host, Kirsty Allen, and I'm a candle maker, mum of three, and kindness advocator. Join me as I dive into all things candles and small business and deliver advice and tips to you in episodes every Tuesday and Friday. Are you on the list to get my daily motivation emails? Every day I'll send you a message that is designed to help keep you focused on taking action toward your goals. Sign up using the link in the show notes. This episode is brought to you by my free ebook, The Candle Business Marketing Kickstarter Kit. Inside this free ebook, you'll learn to identify your blocks of time to dedicate to your candle business. Plus, there are several tips and tricks for re-engaging past customers and attracting new customers into your business so you can grow your business and reach your goals. Check out the link in the show notes for your copy. Welcome back to the podcast, my friend. Today we have a very special guest. We have someone who is at the beginning of their candle making journey. And if you listened to episode 30 of the podcast, you would have known at the end that I mentioned that I wanted to interview someone or some people that are just beginning their candle making journey that would come on the podcast, share where they're up to and what they've been doing so far. And then we'll interview them again 12 months later to see the progression or the growth that they've had. So we have our very first guest to talk about the beginning of their journey. So I would love it if you could introduce yourself to the listeners.
Yeah, so my name is Sade Tillman. I'm 25 years old and I live in Chicago, Illinois.
It's so exciting. I know this, I say this every time I have an overseas guest, but I love the fact that even though we're on other sides of the world, we've connected through our love of candles and our passion and our obsession. So it's so cool to chat with you, even though I'm in Australia and you're in America. I love that. So I guess to begin with, where did your passion or your obsession begin with candles?
So I've always kind of had like that, I guess you can say like entrepreneur mindset. And I actually did have like a business prior, but totally completely different. It was like a notary business. And I really liked that. I really enjoyed working for myself and having my own business. But after COVID hit, I kind of like stopped doing that for a little bit. And I was deciding what I wanted to do next. And I remember I was just thinking like, I know I want to do something where I can have a business from my home and I can do it from the comfort of my own home because I also have a daughter as well. She's 4 years old. So I'm also a mom. So I needed something that I could do from the comfort of my own home. So I remember I was just thinking and I was just like, what could it be? And I was just thinking of so many different things. I was thinking of like bath bombs. Like I knew I wanted to have a business, but I didn't know. And I remember one time I was just sitting there, I was just thinking, I was like, candles, like it just kind of hit me and I love candles. And so, yeah, it just kind of hit me and I kind of started researching and it just like, yeah.
I love how when our journeys begin, they come from just a place of when we're feeling vulnerable but authentic and when we're really sitting with our thoughts and wondering, what do I want to do with my life? And when we focus on something that we enjoy and that we're passionate about, often that can spark the idea to why not create a business, why not create an income around something that brings you joy. And working from home is definitely a benefit for so many, especially post-COVID times. Being able to create something from the comfort of our home is so important to be able to do that. So I'm so excited to see where your journey takes you. And I'm so grateful that we're able to chat at the beginning of your journey. So have you started making candles yet, or are you still in the research phase?
So yeah, I started researching after I figured out I wanted to do candles. And I seen that a lot of people were recommending to get a candle kit. So for Christmas, I did get a candle kit and I did start making candles. So around, December. So it just started happening.
Lovely. Yeah. And we're recording this middle of February 2023. So when the episode comes out, you'll be another couple of months into your journey. But I love that you got it as a present for Christmas and you've been able to start making candles from there. Have you found the process overwhelming or challenging, or have you sort of just slid into it like it's second nature to you?
It's new, so it's definitely like you have to learn something new, but not hard at all. If anything, exciting because it's fun. Like you're creating something. So I thought that was just fun. And I'm not going to say that my other business wasn't fun, but it was a lot of paperwork, and it was just a tedious job. But this is just more like, it's more exciting because you're, like I said, you're creating something and you get to see like the final product after. So it was exciting. But yeah, it definitely showed me like, I got to see like a little trial and error, the wax in the kit that I probably wouldn't use because I didn't really like it. So yeah.
And that's part of the journey. There are so many different types of waxes that you can use, and different fragrance oils, and different suppliers that provide different supplies that you can purchase. So it is a matter of that trial and error to see what works for you and what you enjoy working with, because sometimes you might think, I only want to work with 100% soy wax, for example. But then once you realize that it can be a complicated wax to work with, you might want to go for a blend instead, which is totally fine, but you won't know until you try. So yeah, definitely starting with a kit is a great idea because it gives you a baseline of how to actually make the candles, the mechanics of it, and the science behind it as well.
Yeah, they make it very easy for you as well. They give you all the instructions. It's like, it's hard not like to mess it up.
Yes, exactly. Yes, and a good supplier will be able to answer questions along the way as well. So if you purchase a kit and you have questions about how to use any aspect of it, being able to call or send an email or a direct message to have those questions answered makes you feel like you're not alone during that initial stage of the journey as well, which is really important.
Yes.
So do you want this candle journey to be more of a hobby, or do you want to turn it into a business?
So I definitely want to turn it into a business. I want to be able to like support myself.
Yeah. So in that case, what scares you the most about the journey ahead?
I guess just because it's so unknown and it's just so different. And I know when I mention it to people, they're just kind of like, oh yeah, yeah, candles. Like it's just not really ringing with people how like another business might. But that's probably the scary part, just the unknown, like just to know like I'm stepping out and doing something completely different. So I think that's probably the scary part. But
Yes, definitely exciting. And it's interesting when we are passionate about something and we want to share that with others, we feel like they'll have the same level of excitement. And when they don't, it can feel like, oh, it can almost make you doubt whether you're on the right path, because if people don't resonate with the same intensity and excitement as you, it can make you feel like, oh, is this the right decision? And you begin to doubt yourself a little bit. But when
yeah,
you're strong in your own beliefs and strong in your own knowledge that what you want to do or what you want to embark on is the right path for you, it can be easier to push past any negative thoughts or feelings of doubt.
definitely.
What's been the most exciting part for you so far?
Probably creating or jotting down like my ideas of what I want my I guess my niche to be. So I'm still in that process, really figuring out what I want, like what to stand out, how I want my business to stand out in my product. So that's the exciting part, is creating the product, the brand, the logo, all that. I think that's very exciting because it's your business. So it's like, this is yours. So it's like you take ownership of it, and it's exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Part of being able to create candles or to work in a creative field is allowing all of that creativity to come out of you and to see where it can take you. It's funny, some people I speak to say that before candle making, they wouldn't have classed themselves as a creative person because they might not be able to draw or paint or do any of those typical creative outlets. But then when it comes to candles, they're able to create beautiful labels and incredible products that they never thought that they could make before. So I'm so excited to see what your logo looks like and how your brand develops, and also what products you make as well. Do you think you'll mainly do candles, or do you think you'll branch out into other products?
No, I'm definitely thinking bigger.
Yes.
I don't want candles. Yeah, I definitely feel like I would want eventually down the road to like introduce items as they come, as I work on them. And of course, not too much at once, but because I know it's going to take time to develop each product. But for sure, I do plan on selling different types of products.
Amazing. It's so important to have that growth mindset and to know that what you're planning for the early stages, that will take up enough time and energy and resources to perfect before you bring in other products as well. But knowing that you are looking to the future to bring in new products when the time is right, and that you want your business to grow and expand, is really important. So it's great that you've got that mindset.
Definitely. Yes.
What are your goals for this journey?
My goals. So like personal goals, my business goals, like
Yeah, either.
would just be to like believe in myself, I guess, and just to have more trust in my intuition and like the choices that I'm making. And yeah, just to trust myself more and like be confident in the choices I make. For
Yes,
sure.
I love that. I love that the way that you've answered that question is to look inside and to look at what you can bring to the table from yourself rather than, I want to make $10,000 in my first month or something outside of yourself. Like you've looked in and you've thought, "Now, what is something that I can control and something that I can look forward to and work on as well?" So it's a beautiful answer.
Yeah, and I feel like I kind of have like an advantage just because like I mentioned I did have a business prior. So I definitely learned a lot and made a lot of mistakes in that business. So I feel like going into this business, I just have like I'm just more prepared and I know like what choices to make and just to be more responsible in terms of like bookkeeping and like all that because that's all very important. So I do feel like I do have a little bit of an advantage. That's exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is, it's important to, if you want to run a business, to do it properly and to have all those important aspects in place. It's not just about pouring candles and making pretty labels. You do need to look at the business side of things. How are you structuring your content? How are you being consistent in your business? How are you doing your bookkeeping and keeping up to date with your finances? So it's all of those aspects that help to create a well-rounded business that not a lot of people necessarily put focus and prioritize on. So it's good that you've done that previous business. You know what's required for behind the scenes. And now it's just a matter of getting in there and doing it.
And also not experiencing the burnout because that I experienced that for sure. And that's probably why I kind of let it go because I just went so hard for a few months and like that hustle mentality. And then I experienced the burnout. And so I know moving forward, like there has to be like that balance, especially when you're running a business, like for yourself.
Yes. And because you're a mother as well, you know that to be able to be the best mother that you can be, you need to be able to balance. I mean, it's an elusive balance. It's not perfect, but being able to prioritize the different needs so that, you're taking care of yourself, you're taking care of your child, as well as being the best businesswoman that you can be as well. So it is hard to find that balance, but you're coming into this experience or you're coming into this candle making journey with that experience and with that knowledge that'll help you hopefully avoid burnout and the overwhelm that can afflict so many business owners.
Yes, hopefully.
When you start your candle business, there are so many things to consider and research along the way, especially when it comes to choosing the right suppliers. Long Story Short provides all your design and printing needs, from your logo and branding to designing and printing your product labels. The quality is exceptional, the customer service is amazing, and prices are very reasonable. They're the only label company I recommend, so check out their website or send them an email today to get started. hello@longstoryshortdesign.com.au.
So in terms of your logo and your branding, have you started any of that aspect?
Yes. I have my name and I kind of added my daughter's name into it. So it's perfect. Yeah, I love the name. The logos, I'm not too sure. I'm still deciding, do I want to create my own logos? Do I want to get a label my own labels? Do I want to use a website? So I'm also just experimenting right now to see what's going to be most cost effective, like down the road, like however I start, like the numbers. I'm always like calculating to make sure that the numbers look good so that I know that my return would be good. So
yes.
I'm looking at it right now,
yeah, definitely. And knowing that you've got that mindset of looking at your numbers is a huge advantage that not a lot of people necessarily do when they begin. They jump in because they're so excited and they're so passionate and they just want to get started that, I'll buy everything in bulk because that'll make my cost of goods cheaper, which is true, but you need to build up to that. You need to be able to build your business to a place where you can invest larger sums of money to buy your supplies. Starting off with a kit, buying a few fragrance oils, not 20, starting off with trying 1 or 2 waxes to see how it actually works and what you prefer working with as well is so important, rather than just diving in and buying 60 kilos of a wax and hoping for the best.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So do you know what type of wax you'd like to work with?
I was actually looking at the coconut blend. So I was thinking maybe a little luxurious candles. I like the coconut blend just because I see that it's the most sustainable from the research I did.
Yes, it's definitely better for the planet in terms of the actual sourcing the materials to make the wax. So that's something that, if that's important to you in your business ethos, is to
Yes.
mention that with your branding and mention that with your storytelling of your business on socials and when you have an email list as well, so people can tie in and connect in with that as part of your mission.
Yes.
And what's been your experience so far with different fragrance oils? Do you have a few that you're definitely going to include, or are you still a bit unsure?
Well, I'm doing my research for sure. And I see that, I mean, that all has to do. So like with the trial and error, I want to test the fragrance oil before I can decide on the label, because I make my label based on the scent. So that all is like a process. Like I would assume when that does come, I haven't tested any fragrance oils yet besides the ones in the kit. But I do have a few scents that I'm playing around with, because I'm like playing around with it to decide like a name for a candle or like how to create a label, just messing around with Canva and just, so yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And do you feel like the process so far has been fairly straightforward to learn and pick up, or do you think that it's taken a lot of research to bring you to where you are?
So I think any new business, it requires like a lot of research. And I definitely, since right now I'm in the research stage, I'm just trying to like absorb as much information as I can. So that's watching YouTube videos, looking at DIYs, just listening to podcasts, your podcast. It's all very beneficial, because when the time comes, I'm going to know, like, I'm going to have all the tools that I need to start.
Yes. And I feel like a lot of us get almost stuck in the research phase. We can spend so much time learning and absorbing information, but until you actually begin to apply that knowledge, it won't make a difference in your life. It's like if you read a book and you just read it and put it down, but unless you're actually applying some of the things that you've read, it won't make an impact. It won't change the trajectory of where you're headed. So it's super important to do the research, don't get me wrong, but I love that you're taking action at the same time.
Yes. My goal is to have my business up, hopefully by spring. So that's the goal.
Now that spring for you is autumn for me. So that's in a couple of months. Is that right?
So that would be, around March or April.
Yes. Okay, perfect. Just trying to figure out the different seasons.
So that.
Yeah. So tell me, since we're going to be speaking again in 12 months' time, which I'm so excited for, and I can't wait to see how your business has grown, where do you think you'll be in 12 months?
Hopefully I have some momentum going, hopefully. Realistic goals. I have hopefully a good customer base, and I don't want to set an unrealistic goal, because if I don't reach it, then I'll feel like a failure. So if it's not completely like I'm complete, like, how can I say this? I guess a few sales. I'd be happy with a few sales, really. I'd be happy if I just had a few sales. I mean, I don't need to be making six figures in a year, but if I could just have a few sales and have my product and have my website, that'd be great. I'd be happy with that.
And that's such a huge goal to have, because getting a website up and running, that does take time. It takes effort, it takes energy, and it takes some money as well. To be fair, like to actually get it up off the ground, depending on what platform you use, will depend on how hands-on you need to be to set it up, or if you outsource that side of it as well. But to get a website up and then to start generating sales from people you don't know is such an exhilarating ride, because you think the people that have bought, the customers, they've connected in with my photos, they've connected in with the descriptions, they're connecting with the brand, all of those things where they know, like, and trust you enough to then click purchase off your website when they don't know you. And it's such every time I get a sale from someone I don't know, it's always, wow, like this is really cool. Like sometimes you'll wake up in the morning and you'll see that you've made a sale overnight. And you think, wow, this is amazing. Like it's so cool that it can grow.
If I could just experience that, I'd be pretty happy.
Yes. And I truly believe that that's possible for you, because I know that when you put in the effort, you're doing the work, you're focusing on the business as well as focusing on the actual making of the candles and the product photography and the social media side of things. So when you're doing all of those hand in hand, that's how you build a business from the ground up. So to be on this side of your journey, to talk to you before it's all, up and running is such a privilege, because we get to ask you questions about what you're looking forward to and where you're heading. And then when we chat again in 12 months' time, we'll be able to reflect on the journey you've had, and then even further where you'll be going as well. So it's so cool.
It is. I hope I shock myself because it's really hard to really understand what to expect because it's just so new, and it's just like I said, you're just doing something different and putting yourself out there. So
yes. And do you feel like what you're doing is outside of your comfort zone?
Definitely.
Do you feel like in some ways that this journey will push you beyond where you've been before?
Oh yeah.
In what ways?
So I mean, it's your business, it's your ownership. So it's like you wake up and you have this fulfillment, like I have something to do, but it's my own. And it's like you just live your life with fulfillment, I guess you can say, versus doing something. And that's just how I think though. That's just my mindset, I guess you can say. But
I love that. That's awesome. So we've come to one of my favorite parts of the podcast where I ask all my guests 3 questions relating to candles. So question number 1 is, what is your favorite candle fragrance?
Yes, I love anything wood scent, anything sandalwood, anything with any type of wood scent. I love it.
Yes. So definitely that'll be one of the products in your range.
Definitely,
sure.
Yes.
Number 2, what do you love about candles?
I mean, I just love when you clean the house and you light a candle and you smell the candle. Like it's just so refreshing. Like it's the best feeling, lighting a candle and just smelling it after, and especially in the clean.
Yes, definitely. I don't love cleaning my house, but I love it afterwards when it's clean, lighting the candle and enjoying that. It almost signifies it's almost like a little reward. Yeah,
definitely.
And number 3, what is one piece of advice you'd like to give to other candle makers during their journey?
Just be confident in yourself. Again, like I said, it's really scary, especially if you're doing something that you've never done before, but just be confident, just trust yourself.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Well, Sade, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. I've absolutely loved chatting with you, and I'm so, so excited to see where your journey takes you over the next 12 months and for us to chat again. In the meantime, is there anywhere on social media that you'd like the listeners to connect in with you?
So not yet. I haven't created any social media for my business yet, but hopefully the next time we have all that information for you.
Yes, definitely. Or even in the meantime, when you've got it set up, just send it through to me and then I'll add it to the show notes so then people can follow your journey and give you some support as well.
Okay, great.
Lovely. Well, thank you again. And I will see you in 12 months.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks everyone for listening today. I hope this episode added value to your candle making journey. Check out the show notes for all the links mentioned throughout today's show, and please subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. Thanks again for listening. Have a beautiful day.